Pennsylvania has a constitutional obligation to provide a quality education. To that end, the House has passed to the State Senate House Bill 805. The legislation first had to pass through the House Education Committee, which includes State Representatives Kristin Phillips-Hill from the 93rd Legislative District and Will Tallman from the 193rd Legislative District. They're here today to talk about the bill for a little bit. And Representative, first of all, explain what House Bill 805 does.
House Bill 805 seeks to improve our public education system for our students. It reforms the professional employee tenure process. It allows school districts to furlough staff without having to eliminate programs for economic reasons. And it also requires that professional employee furlough decisions are made first on the basis of performance and then on the basis of seniority.
This bill has often been characterized as a teacher furlough bill, and we can talk about that characterization a little bit. But Representative Tallman, from that perspective, what's the current system of furloughing teachers look like?
Well, actually, our school districts are somewhat handcuffed in what they can do for getting furloughing teachers. One is a significant decrease in student population, which doesn't happen to us here in the south central part of the state. And then the other is you have to eliminate entire programs, which I find to be very frustrating, and I would find if I was still a current school board member, because that would mean I'd have to eliminate arts or phys ed and those types of programs, and I think those are also needed in our school districts.
Both of you are former school board members, and can you talk about what this bill means from that particular perspective?
Well, if I can follow on
Sure.
what Representative Tallman said, immediately prior to my service as a school board director, the decision was made to eliminate the Family and Consumer Science program at the middle school and the Home Economics department at the high school. So instead of making strategic cuts, the entire programs at both the middle school and high school had to be eliminated. There were students signed up for those courses, and this bill would have enabled my predecessors on that school board to have made decisions that were in the best interest of our students and our taxpayers.
Representative Tallman, again, from a school board perspective, what does this mean?
Well, again, just as Representative Hill has said, the school board at your school district is best able to make decisions what impact a furlough decision would have on the local area. I mean, languages are also one of the programs going, and Spanish would be I think a needed program in most of our school districts in south central Pennsylvania. So each school board needs to have that ability to make those choices.
We've talked about some of the components to this already, but let's break into a couple of them. First of all is tenure. What's the tenure component to this look like?
So under existing state law, I think it's section 1108, a temporary professional employee, which would be a teacher who has not yet earned tenure, would earn it after 3 years of service that was satisfactory. House Bill 805, as it was originally drafted, extended that period to 5 years. Representative Saylor, who is the chairman of the House Education Committee, after consultation with various stakeholders, amended the bill so that at the discretion of the superintendent, that temporary professional employee could have that period extended to 4 years. And it wouldn't just happen. That superintendent would have to have documentation, and that employee would have to be notified several months before the end of that 3-year period.
Now, Pennsylvania is also very much in the infancy of a teacher evaluation system here, and there's a component to this bill also, is it not, Representative Tallman?
Yes, there is, and it's going to play a role, as Representative Hill has said. So you're going to be judged where you're at, and we have 4 positions in the way it's set up right now as distinguished and proficient. You will not be considered for furlough and needs improvement, and the last one you would be able to be furloughed. But the interesting fact, because we've received from our teachers' unions, all kinds of emails opposing this because they say it gets rid of good teachers. So what we have is 98% of our teachers under our current evaluation system have been already evaluated, distinguished, or proficient. 1.8%, so we have 98% of our teachers wanting the 1.8% to be protected. And I find that somewhat frustrating that I will say this, not all teachers sending me emails, they know that good teachers are the ones that should be kept, and those teachers that are not as good are the ones that should be furloughed if a furlough decision is made.
Now, we've talked a lot about teacher furloughs, obviously, but again, that's the biggest way this has been characterized, and it's a lot more than that, is it not?
It really is. I think the one thing that needs to be made very clear, and maybe it's two things. I think that our teachers are some of the most valuable assets that our school districts have. As a school board director, when our district made a decision to hire someone, we invested in them. I wanted that teacher to have tenure because we had made that commitment and put a lot of effort on the district's part and financial resources on the district's part to, train them, use our Dallastown model for teaching, and invest in them for our students' benefit. And so I think that furloughing should be the very last option that you take. And that being said, I really believe that this bill is not about to furlough or not to furlough. I believe that this bill is about when you have to make that really difficult and horrible decision, that it's based not just on seniority, but making sure that the very best teachers are there for our students, and then looking at seniority.
If you have questions about this or any other legislative issue, we're about to show you some telephone numbers and email addresses to use. I'm Scott Little. This has been Legislative Report with State Representatives Kristin Phillips-Hill and Will Tallman.